How's it going, YouTube? My name is Jackie LaBelle, and today I'm going to be talking shit about some fake animation channels. I admit it's not a very timely topic. Get off my Okay, first video we're going to watch is called I Got Kidnapped by a 7-year-old. By a 7-year-old. Years is plural. What the So we start off with them blatantly telling us this is complete bullshit. Based on true events, it has been altered to make it more interesting and fun to watch. It's not interesting and fun to watch in the first place.
Fusion on my face. "It's me, Mama," she cried happily. "It's Hannah." I was shocked and I sat up, fighting the blinding headache.
So this is Hannah. She's already freaking me out. And imagine waking up with that face staring at you like, "Hey, Mama, it's me, Hannah."
That's intense. Do you think I'm just having a nightmare? Before I continue, please click the like and subscribe buttons below.
Whoa, that's intense. I just found out that my life is on the line. But make sure you hit that subscribe button for more awesome content.
My name is Helen. This is the story of the craziest and creepiest month of my life.
Hi, Helen. I just wanted to let you know that you had a crazy month. Well, this month is nothing in comparison to most of the crap that's happening in other people's life. Let's see what's going on this YouTube channel alone. I can't talk to my mom because she doesn't have time for me. That's not crazy, it's just sad. My name destroyed my life. Oh. I'm a genius born in a family of morons. Okay, that's just f***ing mean.
I came into the room carrying a tray for breakfast. "Can I share your breakfast, Mom?" Hannah said while jumping into the bed. I looked angrily at Hank and I demanded that he release me, but he never said a word. I grabbed his hand. What kind of sick joke is this?
Anyway, so nothing really remarkable happens. We find out she has a son that she wants to get home to, but she's also kind of growing attached to little Hannah. She actually yelled at her a few times for watching Keeping Up with the Kardashians or something like that. But yeah, I wouldn't let my kid watch Keeping Up with the Kardashians. So Hannah sees them eating in a really fancy restaurant that's close to their house, and Hannah's like, "I want to go eat like the Kardashians. Let's go eat like the Kardashians, Dad." And the dad's like, "Okay, we can take your mom," or whoever the hell that is to her. And the mom's like, "Okay." So they go, and Hannah's like, "Yeah, I'm so happy. I have a family now." And then at the end, Helen's like, "Okay, I gotta pee, and I'm gonna take Hannah with us." And then so she puts Hannah in one of the stalls, and while she's in the other stall, she writes, "Help us. I've been kidnapped." And then she writes that on the wall in lipstick, and then the license plate number, and then the cops come almost immediately for some reason, just as they're leaving, and arrest the dad. And then we find out that Hannah's not a 7-year-old, she's a 18 years old. So they lied to us on that, so what the
In my chest. "You're smarter than I thought," she spat back at me. "I may look like a young girl, but I'm really 18 years old. Not much younger than you." "How?" I whispered back. "I stopped aging a long time ago. I'm trapped in this child's body, but I can't do anything without somebody who actually looks like an adult."
So Hannah is apparently an 18 years old, and she kidnaps people to be her mama, and then kills them if they don't meet her expectations. What the Hannah? You're the biggest brat in the world. I sort of glossed over the last one because it was a little boring, but don't worry. We have another one where a girl becomes a ghost after being locked in her crush's locker for a year.
Hi there, my name is Michelle, and today, for My Story Animated, I'm going to tell you the horrifying story of how I was stuck in my crush's locker for 1 year.
Michelle tells us that she was locked in her crush's locker for 1 year. Later on we find out no. First off, she was not stuck in her crush's locker for 1 year. She was walking freely around her school for 1 year, and she could leave any time she wanted.
I wanted to leave a love letter for Gerard. We'd been flirting for a couple of months, and I was too much of a chicken to ask him to the prom. And since he wasn't asking me, well, I decided to ask him with a letter.
Michelle decides to ask her crush to the prom with a letter. So she goes to slip it into his locker and gets scared and hides in his locker during a regular school day.
Next day. I mean, what? He was telling his friends that he was going to ask me to the prom, only to stand me up and then go to the prom with his real girlfriend.
Okay, so she leans against the wall. Yes, Fatty, we know you're here. She leans against the wall, and then the wall opens and takes her to a back room that is like completely empty.
Everything was silent and dark. It was night. I was so hungry. I went through the vent system to the cafeteria. I found all sorts of things there. It felt kind of cool to have the entire school for myself. Or so I thought, because I suddenly heard the night guard entering the cafeteria. He pointed around with his flashlight, and I hid under the table. He walked towards me, and as he saw the food on the table, sat down and started eating it.
Why? Why out of everything else would you sit down and start eating school food? Not just any school food, leftover school food. You want to know the school food that they had for me? They had really chicken and waffles. They also had hot dogs that looked a little too much like... And what else did they have? Oh yeah, they had Chip Chan's Yum Yum Chicken Fried Rice. Not even exaggerating that name.
Problems at home. My dad left when I was 2 years old, and my mom never fully recovered. She was now chronically depressed and going in and out of mental institutions. I decided I would live in the school. Not like I had a loving family to go back to anyway.
Yeah, that's right, Michelle. You don't have a loving family to go back to. You just have a mom that probably really needs you right now because she is going in and out of mental institutions. But yeah, you do you. Losing her daughter on top of losing her husband when her daughter was young is not going to do anything to her. That's just a walk in the park.
I wanted to die. After what seemed like forever, they started to leave, and I made some noise unwillingly.
Unwillingly, you say? You punched the desk. That's pretty willing in my opinion.
It's Michelle's ghost, like joking. But she looked at him scared and told him not to joke about that. He looked at her seriously and told her he was just joking. But she said she was scared, that she kind of felt my presence there. Gerard laughed hardly in her face, but she told him to shut up and started whispering something in his ear. I was curious about her words, so I moved towards them, making more noise. They looked in my direction seriously. She said, "See? I told you! Every time I talk about her, something like this happens! You're paranoid!"
See, I told you. Every time I talk about her, I hear something. You're paranoid. What the kind of a conversation is that? They're acting like strangers.
The entire school was a war zone. Everyone was fighting and shouting. The teachers were punishing the usual rascals as they tried to defend themselves. Some students started to break things. Others were trying to burn down the letters, and that led to a general fire in the main building. They had to close the school for the day because the firemen were called and the police had to intervene.
You're gonna do what I say, or I will put my foot so far up your you will ruin the day you crawled out of your mother's.
So a bunch of decide to try to burn the letters, and that leads to a fire. And nothing happens to Michelle because she's happy about it. And this is Magic Michelle land. Anyway, she's happy that the school almost burned down. And people are trying to kill each other. So she writes more letters to them.
And that left everyone puzzled. Who was giving away the letters if the school was closed? The consequences of that were very dangerous to me. The police closed the school for the entire week. They concluded that someone was hiding inside, and they were determined to find out who. My name came up as the first suspect, since they never actually found my body. So I spent the whole week moving around as they searched the room one by one, over and over again. Finally, when I was sure I was safe, one of the police dogs started to bark in front of Gerard's locker. I was in the hidden room just behind it, and the dog was scratching the locker frantically. The police thought that the dog had gone crazy, but as it insisted on barking, they moved the locker but found nothing. But when they knocked down the wall, they discovered my hidden room. I hid inside the vent duct just in time.
Because this is Magic Michelle land.
Of extra weeks. But I was pissed off. Mainly because they took away all my things, but also because the gossiping and the abuses grew even stronger after that. So, I decided to take things to the next level.
Take things to the next level? You made the students burn the school down. There is no higher level you can go.
It's all their secrets. I'd done it before, and I would do it again. I even delivered some of the letters through the vents, holding them with threads. It really looked as if a ghost was manipulating them. All the students and even the teachers were freaking out. Sometimes, I took water from the cafeteria and sprinkled it from above when I heard someone mentioning my name. I got really skillful as a ghost. The police found my fingerprints on the letters and searched the school again, but they never found me. Whenever I heard someone saying something behind anyone's back, I responded. I made all sorts of noises, moved objects, and some of the times, I even cut the lights off. And every mean comment I heard was posted on the halls the very next day with the name of its author. Students and teachers were becoming really scared of saying or doing something mean. The school was finally starting to be the place I always dreamed it would be, the safe space every kid should have while growing up.
The safe place every child should have while growing up.
And that led to a general fire in the main building. They had to close the school for the day because the firemen were called and the police had to intervene.
Sounds safe as hell. I can't wait to have kids and send them to your school, Michelle.
The land until there was nothing else, not even me.
Michelle is a ghost now, and so she floats up to heaven to become the rightful gossip queen that she is.
The police were there, and they explained to me that when I showed myself to Alicia, she freaked out and hit me on the head, and I lost consciousness. And the police told me that they were protecting me because hundreds of angry students were outside, and they all wanted to get revenge for what I did. They were going to give me a fake identity and move me to a new state to hide from everyone until the court decides what to do with my case.
First off, how strong is Alicia? Second, no students are gathering outside to beat the out of you. We all have Fortnite to play. Third, yes, Michelle, you do have parents, okay? There is no getting around that. Your mom just is in a mental institute. She's probably dead now. She probably had a heart attack when she found out that you're missing. What the is wrong with you, Michelle? You almost had the school burned down. So this last story we're going to be looking at today is called I Found a Secret Door in Girl's Bathroom.
I had been really upset and was putting makeup on to cover it up. That was when I saw a reflection in the mirror behind me and noticed a door I hadn't seen before. I turned around and opened the door. It was an empty cleaning cupboard. It was about the size of a couple of toilet cubicles.
I feel like Phoebe and Michelle will get along great. Phoebe just needs to light the school on fire.
Stepped closer to check it out, but then someone came in and I had to hide fast. So I got inside and hid.
Another similarity Phoebe and Michelle have, they both hide at completely unnecessary times. There are girls walking into the bathroom. You don't have to hide when you're in the bathroom.
I got an idea. What if I didn't go home that night? I could stay in the cupboard. I texted my mom and said I was spending the night at my dad's.
That's definitely not going to backfire in the future. Hey, sweetie, how's Phoebe doing? What? How's Phoebe doing? That's not what I was talking about. You called me sweetie. Can you just, tell me how Phoebe's doing? I thought she was staying with you. No.
I wanted to go out with him, not her. I had to do something to get the upper hand, and I needed to come up with a plan. After school, I had detention, and Mr. Taylor was being so mean to me again. I had no idea why he kept picking on me, but I knew I needed to get my revenge on him. But I had bigger problems to worry about. I had a maths exam the next day, and I had done no revision at all.
Phoebe has a math exam the next day while she's trying to come up with her revenge on Mr. Taylor for being such a crusty. Tell the principal that you saw him with a bottle of whiskey.
Say well done for helping him get rid of a bad teacher. But when I sat down, he did not seem happy. He told me that the janitor had reported seeing me at school late one night. The principal had decided not to ask me about it, but to keep an eye on me instead. It turns out that there were CCTV cameras at the school I hadn't seen. He had seen me breaking into Matt's and Sophie's lockers and going into the principal's lounge. He asked me how I had got onto school premises at night, but I just kept quiet. like I was going to tell him that. Then he put something onto the desk. It was my answer sheet from the maths test a few days ago. He said that Mrs. Sims had reported me for cheating.
Phoebe is in trouble because there is CCTV footage at the school. Most schools have that. She is a moron, but you know what, Phoebe? You're still a strong, independent drawing.
Test. I had stolen the wrong exam. As it was a multiple choice exam, I had just assumed it was the correct one, and I was so wrong. Then he told me the worst thing. He had called the police as my breaking and entering counted as a criminal act. And he had called my mom and dad, and they were on their way. So I did the only thing I could think of. I ran. I went to my secret cupboard and locked myself in. I could hear loads of people searching for me, but no one found me. Luckily, I had food and drink, so I hid in the cupboard for a few hours.
Phoebe has food and drink, so she was perfectly fine with hiding in the cupboard for a few hours. Nobody thought to look in the locked cupboard that nobody could get into, even though I'm assuming a whole lot of people saw Phoebe going in and out of the bathroom constantly throughout the day. Are you... Phoebe, what? Get smarter!
When it was nighttime, I snuck out. The school was empty, but what was I going to do? There was no way that I was going to end up living with my parents again.
Yes, Phoebe, that is the exact problem with this scenario right now. Living with your parents is a nightmare. But you do realize that the cops are looking for you right now for criminal charges. You're stupid. I'm done. You're not a strong, independent drawing anymore, Phoebe. You're just stupid.
The school. Then I hitchhiked to a town that was hundreds of miles away, a place where no one would know me. I spent the night on the street, sleeping in a shop doorway like a homeless person. It was cold, dark, and scary. Then I realized I was a homeless person, and I was to blame. I couldn't live like this.
Phoebe is a hobo now, so living with your parents doesn't sound so bad, now does it, Phoebe?
Station and handed myself in. Luckily, I was let off with a warning. They were more concerned about reuniting me with my mom.
Alright, this is the end of the video. Thank you guys so much for watching my videos. Please make sure to follow me on Instagram at JackieLeeBell. And that's about it. That's all I can say. This is my first video, so it's not going to be the best quality, but I'm still going to be trying to upload. So send me recommendations on what I should do next, and I will try to give it a try. Okay?